Welcome to the Nightly Rant
with
your hosts, Mike
and Torya.
This is the show where we examine society from a sarcastic point of view.
If you like insane conversations, this is definitely the show for you.
Let's get into today's topic. YPN people, I don't know about you, but I love helping out a friend. That's why I want to shout out my friend Brian Little and his podcast, Your Favorite Blockhead. This is the only show that manages to weave together peanuts and MMA into one heck of an amazing podcast. You can find Your Favorite Blockhead wherever your favorite podcasts reside and at yourfavoriteblockhead.com. Do me a huge favor and listen to Brian's show. You'll be entertained and you'll help out a friend. Now, as I said, let's get into today's topic. Do you know who the most creature of habit is in our entire herd of people and pets here?
Ozzie.
You think Ozzie is? Why?
Yeah.
I want to hear this.
Because all he does is roam around his cage eating things.
But that doesn't make him a
Drinking
creature of habit. That just makes him a boring creature.
Those are his habits. He roams and he eats. He roams and he eats.
I don't
roams,
catch him doing the exact
he
same
eats.
thing twice in a day.
Roams and eats. Roams.
See, Yogi
eats, roams,
is a
eats.
creature of habit because Yogi he will not sit with us anymore. Very rarely, unless we have the leg rest up. And if we have the leg rest up, then he won't sit with us. He sits on the leg rest. I have 3 entries in my vlog of him doing that. 3.
You also have one of Ozzie roaming and eating. And roaming
Well,
and eating.
for that matter, I have one of Bree getting beat up by a cat.
Like she's doing right now.
That's what Bree does.
Well, she's kind of beating up the cat. Miss Olive's not fighting back very much right now.
So that was crazy. But, I started that vlog this will be my 4th week, so 3 weeks back. And you can find my channel. I'll link it in here. So subscribe, watch, and like or don't like. I don't really care because they're all interactions. Do one of the many 4. So we started, we're kind of running out of things to watch because we've been watching so much TV.
And he hates everything I like.
It's redonkulous. So we've been watching this show. What is it called? Silicon Valley, right?
Yeah.
And the idea is that it's the time when, tech is booming there and they want to start a tech company and they have this great technical idea. But what I love about the show, and sometimes they make it super obvious and sometimes they make it more subtle, is that guy Richard, he's just turned on, in love with dating that whole platform idea that he has. He's in love with it.
Well, yeah.
But why is he in love with it? Do you know?
Because it's his brainchild.
But beyond that, it's because he's nerdy and geeky, and he loves the nerdy geekiness of what he's doing. Do you think people really care if they got the difference between that 2.89 and the 5.6?
Well,
those are milliseconds.
If it saves you money in
but those are
your
milliseconds.
Dropbox storage.
But those are milliseconds. Nobody cares. But the problem that they had, obviously, was trying to put out a product without explaining how to use it.
Well, that was dumb.
Well, I've seen it kill many, 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 many people who put out software and then they sell it on a affiliate program, and they sell a crap ton and it looks great, right? And they can say, they can legit say, I made $980,000 in the first 4 days of launch. And then I asked the question, and how much of that $980,000 did you have to refund because your software wasn't working right or people didn't know how to use it, And they hit that in the show, that people didn't know how to use it. Then even though they got a whole bunch of people to download it, people weren't using it. What good is your software getting downloaded if no one uses it?
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. We watched 4 seasons of that show, and I still have no idea what exactly their software is supposed to do.
You don't?
No.
You don't.
I'm not a tech person.
Interesting, because what it literally is the only thing it's about is video compression, like file compression. That's it. And then they switch it to video compression because of the video chat software that the guy came up with. But it's basically just file compression, like zip.
Okay.
That's what it is. And somehow they've come up with a way to compress a file down smaller and faster, both. Well, and that's the thing. Their marketing is what sucked, clearly. But that's because people like that, they don't put money, they don't think about putting money into marketing. All they think about putting money into is more programmers to make their product faster.
If it makes files smaller, all they would need to do is have an interface where you upload your file and then have it so you can connect it to Dropbox and Google Drive and
what they would do,
other ones, and then
what they would
compress
do
and stick.
Yeah, what they would do is they would create a plugin that, hooks into Dropbox or Google Drive or whatever you use, Box. I don't understand, though, how, so much money just kept getting made and then lost and then made and then lost. That's the thing about that show that they show you. And I like the show, I guess, in a nutshell because it's just so realistic to what I've experienced working for companies like that.
Yeah, makes sense.
Worked for this company once in Huntington Beach, and they had a thing. I'm shocked. They had a thing that was kind of like a cross between an iPad and those Ziosks. And they would give you one. The idea was to have enough so that you could give one per kid at a table. And then you'd use one of those to place your order. So it's like, what's that restaurant, Stacked, where you place your order on the iPad and you send it to the back. That's how it was supposed to work. And then you'd pay on there. That was all their idea that Stacked is doing. Who knows? Maybe one of the partners went there, because what happened with them was they got all this money. And then at that time, a 21-inch monitor back then cost like $4,000. And one guy had 3 of them on his desk, one of the executives. $12,000 in computer monitors. So the investor
That's the exact same thing they did in the show.
Yeah.
They said, each of your monitors cost $3,000, and he had like 9 of them.
Yeah. And what happened was the investor dude walked through and he told them the wallet's shut. You've spent the money on things that don't help the product. The wallet is shut. And he's like, I don't want to hear excuses. You could have spent the money elsewhere. And, that's what you see in there. It's so realistic.
I like it because it's funny.
I held this story. I held this story until we decided we were going to talk about this show. But I once was looking for, the whole story. I told you the whole story about how she didn't like me having a business. She wanted a steady paycheck.
Right.
And, if you were to ask her the story would be that I never ever did anything that she asked of me. Yet just as an example, we had this conversation. Then we went on a 2-week vacation to Washington, D.C., where we spent lots of money. Like, the kids were in shock because when they would ask for something, it wasn't, oh, wait until payday. It was, here you go. We came back and we had $10,000 more in our bank account than when we left.
I wouldn't complain about that.
And that was because we were having a business. And she wanted the paycheck. So like a month after that, I took, a paycheck job. And what happened was, prior to taking that paycheck job, I, was going on different interviews. And these people, I had a phone interview with them once. Then they gave me a coding test. Then they gave me a second phone interview. Then they gave me a third phone interview. And then they said, okay, we got it narrowed down to 3 people. And we want to invite you up here to San Jose to our offices so that we can do the final interviews. Now, this was a software that, like, for an apartment complex like this, it had the ability to, like, if you put in a maintenance request, whoever is assigned to our area of the building would immediately receive a page on their pager. In this day and age, I guess it would be a text to their cell phone. But back then it was their pager, telling them that, apartment, whatever, their dishwasher's broken or their garbage disposal's backed up or the toilet's overflowing, and it would tell. And then you'd pay your rent on there. It was like way ahead of its time.
Because they have those now.
So my thing was, then we talked about it, and she did not want to move the kids to San Jose. So I negotiated before going there that if you hire me, I want to work 3 weeks here, and then I'll go up there for a week. And 3 weeks here, and I'll go up there for a week. And then, of course, if there was any important meetings, client coming in or whatever, and you needed engineering help, I'd be glad to come up just for that. Mm-hmm. But, that was the deal. They agreed. They really liked me. They wanted me. So go there. Guy picks me up at the airport in San Jose, and we're driving, and we're boogieing down the main street, and we're just going, and all of a sudden we turn into a residential neighborhood, and I'm like, what the absolute hell is going on here? I thought I was going to be murdered. I thought I was about to be murdered. I was like, who did I piss off that they're going to kill me? They pull down there, and just like that show,
here's
a garage with a logo on it, and the door goes up, chung, 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 chung. And there's like 15 people sitting on computers inside there.
That's hilarious.
And throughout the entire interview process, the dude kept like trying to convince me that very soon they were going to be moving to an office. But he kept saying, I'm not sure where the location is yet, but we're going to move to an office really soon. Which really translates into, we are hoping that someone will buy our damn software, and then when we have that money, then we will spend it on an office.
Right.
Yeah. So
that's funny.
I went through the whole interview process. I boogied on out of there, came home. Probably like 10 days later, I get the call that we want to hire you. We're going to offer you like 7% equity in the company, this much salary, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But just to let you know, since it seemed to be an issue for you, we don't plan on having offices for at least 5 years. I was like, sorry, pass. Not interested in working in your garage.
1 week out of the month.
And I didn't do it. It was just weird and uncomfortable, and I'm not good with weird and uncomfortable.
You probably could have told them that it's weird and uncomfortable to work in somebody's garage for you, and they probably would have let you work remotely.
Well, the
all
company
the time,
went out of
except
business
for client
that
meetings.
same year, so it didn't really matter. I probably made the right decision, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they went out of business. I said that to somebody once. Oh, they went out of business, and so I made the right decision. They go, well, how do you know they didn't go out of business? Because they didn't get a good enough programmer.
That's funny. That's what I was just thinking.
Maybe you would have been the one that would have helped them get to the next level. You don't know.
Yeah.
That's interesting, but I don't think that way.
But that was before people would have been comfortable paying their rent online.
Right.
Is my guess.
Well, yeah, it was way too soon. What do you like about the show?
I already said this. I like it because it's funny.
That's
I
it?
like nerdy people. Big Bang Theory used to be like my favorite show, and then it got kind of overhyped and weird. But nerdy people are my people.
Well, are they your people, or do they just make you laugh?
Both.
Okay, interesting.
In order to fit into the category of my people, they have to make me laugh.
I guess that makes sense. Because why would anyone want to be hanging out with somebody a lot of the time? Because if you're going to call them your people, you're going to either watch their show or whatever a lot. Mm-hmm. And why would anyone do that if they didn't make them laugh? I mean,
like that weird guy with the crappy hair and the stupid mustache. I could be friends with that dude. I think he's an idiot, but he's not stupid. He's super smart. He's just an idiot.
Well, he's overall generally a piece of shit, is what he is.
I think he's funny.
He's funny, but he's overall, like, as the character goes, he's a piece of shit.
But he saved the day.
Like, he's 100%. Well, in the end, he surprises you with that. But
he saved the day multiple times.
But the whole entire time, he's always for himself. And the proof of that is every time somebody comes up with an idea, he's like, well, you're here in my incubator. I get 10%.
So?
That's called greed. He just wants to make money off of everybody else and not have to do any work. However, you're right. He, despite being a hard ass or trying to act like he was a hard ass and that he didn't care, he actually did care. And that's why he saved the day by buying the company.
Yeah. He saved the day multiple times. Led him down a decent path. He's a good guy.
If you like pieces of shit. You're not going to convince me that he's a good guy, so let's not even try. So that's
Whatever.
it. You just think it's funny. That's awesome. And is that guy like your favorite character?
No.
Who's your favorite character?
I don't know.
You don't
Probably
know?
the woman from the VC.
The one, the rich lady, or the one that's basically got the hots for Richard?
The one who doesn't actually have the hots for Richard.
What makes you think she doesn't have the hots for Richard?
Because there would have been a move made already if she did.
Really? So we've never had, a show that went like, I don't know, 10 seasons before the main characters had anything happen. Like,
yeah, like 1 in
the
10,000.
season finale was where it happened. I mean, that's happened before. So, and it happens in life. I don't know, but I don't know who my favorite character is because it changes, which is typical for me on sitcoms because it's like That 70s Show. Sometimes I like Hyde. Sometimes I like Eric. Sometimes I like Fez. I always like Red, but
I took a quiz online. You know those stupid Facebook quizzes?
and you're Kitty.
No.
No?
Mm-mm. Do you think I'm a drug-addled alcoholic?
No,
Thanks.
I don't.
No, I got Eric, actually.
Huh. That surprises me. You strike me more as a Hyde person.
I'm not enough of a badass.
Neither is he.
Yes, he is.
He just doesn't give a shit what anyone thinks. That's why that's funny. That's a funny show. So there you go. There's 2 recommendations for you people. If you're looking for something to watch actually
Silicon Valley.
3 recommendations. I'm going to give 3 because you can watch Silicon Valley. You can watch Big Bang Theory, which I'm sure 98.9% of you already have. And then you could watch, what were we just talking about?
That 70s Show.
That 70s Show. That's right. The last one you can watch is That 70s Show. So there they are. Funny shows. Funny
and look,
shows.
We just did a top 3 list. Go us.
How many times have we talked about That 70s Show?
At
My
least
gosh.
3.
We've watched it so many times. This is at least our 4th time watching it.
No, it's not. It's only the 2nd time we've watched it beginning to end. Once when I was still in Canada and once right now.
And once when you first got here.
Nope.
Yep.
Nope.
Yep.
We finished it when I got here because we hadn't finished it in Canada. But I've only ever watched it with you
seen
twice.
it 3. This is the 3rd time through.
Then you watched it by yourself.
Maybe I did.
Maybe you did.
Maybe it was while you were watching the Housewives show.
It's totally possible.
Anything's possible and probably is. But there you have it. The crazy streaming insanity.
Yep. And that's much needed right now because everybody is super bored.
Yes, and they're tired.
So then they should go to bed. Good night, everyone.
Hasta la bye-bye. Thank you for listening to the Nightly Rant.
If you enjoyed the show, please give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts or Google Play.
If you didn't enjoy the show, please just ignore that previous request for a rating.
This has been a Yogi's Podcast Network production.